Cool, I said into the phone, my voice steady enough to fool even myself. Then I added one sentence. Then everything will be cancelled. Silence. Not the awkward kind. The dangerous kind. The kind that tells you someone finally understands they pushed too far. My name is Olivia. I'm 28 years old. And Christmas? Christmas was never a holiday for me. It was a responsibility. Not the smiling photos. Not the compliments. Not the praise my mother soaked up like sunlight. I handled the parts no one clapped for. The planning. The fixing. The quiet work that made her look perfect. So when she told me I wasn't needed this year, not invited, not welcome, something inside me shifted. I didn't argue. I didn't beg. I didn't explain. I stopped protecting her Christmas. And that was the exact moment her perfect holiday began to collapse. Before I go on, pause for a second. Where are you listening from right now? A quiet kitchen? A parked car? A room you finally have to yourself? Hold on to that feeling. Because if you've ever been the reliable one, this story is already yours. I didn't choose to become the one who handled Christmas. It happened slowly, piece by piece, year after year. At first, it sounded harmless. Can you send the group message? Can you pick up grandma? Can you cover the groceries? We'll settle later. Later never came. By my early 20s, December stopped feeling like joy. It felt like a deadline. Guest lists lived in my phone. Budgets lived in my notes app. Who needed rides? Who didn't get along? Who would complain no matter what? I tracked it all. My mother loved to say, I couldn't do this without you. But she never meant beside her. She meant behind her. When something went wrong, she panicked and called me. When everything went right, she stepped forward smiling. People praised her cooking, her warmth, her perfect family traditions. No one saw me leaving work early to shop, staying up past midnight fixing plans she forgot she approved, paying deposits because my card was already saved. Ryan, my brother, showed up with jokes and an empty trunk. Everyone laughed. I showed up with lists and receipts. Everyone expected it. I paid for candles, decorations, extra food, just in case. And when I finally asked to be paid back, my mom sighed like I disappointed her. Why are you making it about money? She said. This is family.
So I stopped asking.
I told myself this was what being dependable looked like. That this was love. That I mattered because things fell apart without me. But slowly, I noticed something. I wasn't included in decisions. I was informed after. I wasn't thanked. I was relied on. And when my mother finally said, no one needs you this Christmas, it didn't come out of nowhere. It confirmed what I'd been terrified to admit. I wasn't her daughter in December. I was her unpaid labor. And once you see that clearly, you can never unsee it. The week before Christmas, the house always changed. Not louder, not happier, heavier. I felt it in my body before I ever found the words for it. Most nights, I stood alone in the kitchen, scrolling through emails, work reminders, schedule changes, a message from my boss thanking me for staying late again. My feet hurt.
My shoulders stayed tight.
I couldn't remember the last time I sat down without feeling guilty. In the living room, my mom talked about centerpieces, about lighting, about how the table had to look effortless. Effortless, for her, meant invisible for me. She'd call out without turning around. Did you remind Aunt Claire about the allergy thing? Can you grab more napkins tomorrow? We might need extra chairs, just in case. Just in case always meant me. My phone buzzed constantly. Cousins asking what time to arrive. Uncles asking what to bring. Grandma asking who is picking her up. They didn't call my mom. They called me. At work, I ate lunch at my desk. At home, I stood while everyone else sat. My body learned how to be tired without complaining. Ryan drifted in and out like a guest in his own house.
He joked.
Teased me for being intense. My mom laughed and said she liked being in control. That wasn't control. That was survival. And once I noticed it, I couldn't stop noticing. My name missing from group photos. Decisions already made when I walked into the room. Plans announced like I was staff being briefed. When I tried to step back, even slightly, the tone changed. You okay? You're being weird. Don't start something now. So I stopped reacting. I told myself it was temporary. That after Christmas, I'd rest. That this was just the season. Then the phone call came. My mom's voice was calm. Almost kind. No one needs you to come this year. I stood alone in my kitchen, staring at the wall, and suddenly everything lined up. The exhaustion. The resentment I'd been swallowing. The way my role only existed when it was useful. They didn't notice how much I did, because my work made their lives comfortable. And comfort makes people careless. That night, I didn't cry. I opened my notes app and started listing everything I handled. Not to prove a point, not for revenge, just to see the truth written down. Groceries, decorations, vendor calls, deposits, schedules, pickups, payments, line after line after line. And that's when it hit me. If this much disappears when I step back, then I was never helping. I was holding everything up, and the scariest question followed right after. Why was I the only one lifting it? If this were your family, what would you do? Would you stay quiet to keep the peace? Or would you finally stop carrying what was never yours alone? Because 3 days later, my phone rang again. Not a text. Not a group message. A direct call. My mom didn't sound angry. She sounded efficient. Olivia, she said, we've been talking. That sentence always meant trouble. We think it's best if this year is smaller. Less complicated. Less stress. I waited. So you don't need to come. Not we'll miss you. Not can you skip. You don't need to come. Then she added gently, we've already booked everything. It wouldn't be fair to cancel now.
Fair.
The word landed wrong. Ryan's going?
I asked.
Yes, she replied quickly. He really needs this break. I didn't argue. I didn't defend myself. I just listened as she explained logistics that no longer included me. When the call ended, I stared at my phone. And for the first time, I didn't feel hurt. I felt clear. I walked through my apartment slowly. The dining table I paid for. The chairs I ordered. The decorations stored in boxes I labeled. Every candle. Every playlist. Every tradition.
Mine.
That's when I opened my laptop. And that's when the balance of power quietly began to shift. I hadn't noticed it before. How much of Christmas was technically mine? Not emotionally. Legally. The catering order? Under my account. The linen rental? My name. The florist?
Me again.
My mom hated paperwork. I trust you, she always said. That trust felt different now. I sat at my kitchen table, laptop open, the room silent except for the hum of the fridge. No anger. No shaking hands. Just focus. I called the caterer first. Hi, I said calmly. I need to cancel an order scheduled for the 25th. No explanation required. Then the rental company. Then the florist. Then the musician. Each cancellation was clean. Professional. No speeches. No drama. No revenge monologue. Just consequences. When I closed my laptop, my chest felt lighter, like I'd been holding my breath for years without realizing it. That evening, I opened the family group chat. I didn't write much. Hey everyone. Plans changed this year. I'll be hosting a small Christmas at my place instead. Totally understand if you already have other plans. I hit send. Then I waited. Replies came faster than I expected. Oh, thank God. We were only coming because of you. A smaller thing actually sounds nice. My phone buzzed again. A missed call from my mom. Then another. For the first time, I didn't rush to fix anything. Because the truth had finally caught up. And once it does, there's no pretending it was an accident. Ryan texted next. What did you do? Mom is freaking out. She says you're sabotaging Christmas. I stared at the screen for a long moment before replying. I'm not sabotaging anything. I just stopped doing it. No response. The next morning, there was a knock on my door. No warning. No apology. My mom stood there with her arms crossed, eyes sharp. "What is wrong with you?" she demanded. I didn't invite her in. "What's wrong?" I said evenly, "is that you told me I wasn't needed." She scoffed. "You're being dramatic. You always do this when things aren't about you." That word again. Dramatic. I walked back to the table and opened my laptop. "Everything you canceled," I said. "I paid for." Her face shifted. Not guilt. Calculation. "You wouldn't dare," she said. "I already did." She laughed once, sharp and hollow. "You think this makes you powerful? You're humiliating me." "No," I said. "I stopped hiding for you." Ryan appeared behind her, quieter than I'd ever seen him. "Mom," he said gently, "maybe we should talk." She snapped toward him. "So now you're taking her side?" And there it was. The split. The thing she'd avoided for years by letting me absorb everything. Now there was no buffer. By noon, the story started changing. Not because I explained, but because people noticed. Grandma called me directly. "I don't understand," she said softly. "Your mother says you abandoned Christmas." "I didn't," I told her. "I just stopped running it." A long pause. Then, "I wish I'd known." That hurt more than yelling. By day 2, the group chats fractured. Smaller threads. Side calls. Quiet questions. Mom tried to control the narrative. "She's sensitive. She's overreacting. She always does this." But people were comparing notes now. Who handled reminders? Who coordinated rides? Who paid deposits? Who showed up first? The illusion cracked. That night, Ryan came over. Not angry, just tired. "She's blaming you for everything," he said. "I know. She says you ruined her holiday." I looked around my apartment, warm lights, food cooking, people arriving because they wanted to be there. "I didn't ruin anything," I said. I removed myself from the lie. Ryan swallowed. "I don't think she knows how to fix this." I shrugged. She never tried to fix me either. For the first time, no one asked me to smooth it over. They were finally sitting in the silence I'd carried alone. And they hated how empty it felt without me. Christmas morning was quiet. Not empty. Not sad.
Still.
Sunlight slipped through the blinds of my apartment. The kind that doesn't rush you. The kind that lets you breathe. For the first time in years, I woke up without my phone buzzing, without someone needing something from me immediately. No emergencies. No last-minute crises. No guilt pulling me out of bed. I made coffee and stood barefoot on the kitchen floor, listening to the quiet hum of the morning. My shoulders felt lighter. My chest didn't ache. For the first time, Christmas wasn't a performance. It was just mine. People arrived slowly. Not because they were obligated. Because they wanted to be there. Grandma hugged me longer than usual, her hands warm, steady. "You look rested," she said softly. I smiled. "I am." Ryan showed up next. He didn't joke. Didn't tease. He just helped carry bags and stayed present. That alone said more than any apology could. No one needed a script. We ate when the food was ready. We laughed when something burned. We let the day unfold without forcing it. And somewhere between refilling cups and sharing stories, I noticed something small but powerful. I wasn't waiting for my mom to call. Not for an apology. Not for permission. Not for approval. I already had what I needed. The truth didn't fix everything. It didn't erase the years I lost trying to keep the peace. It didn't magically turn my family into something healthy. But it did one thing that mattered more than anything else. It stopped me from disappearing. I didn't walk away to punish her. I walked away to stop betraying myself. Boundaries didn't make me cruel. They made me visible. Later that night, after everyone left, I sat on the couch in the soft glow of the tree lights. The same couch I once paid for so someone else could look good. Now it held me. I thought about the girl who stayed quiet. The one who swallowed disappointment. Who believed love meant being useful. Who thought rest had to be earned. She did the best she could. But she doesn't run my life anymore. If this story feels familiar, if you've ever been told you were too much the moment you stopped giving everything, listen to me. You are not hard to love. You're just being used. And choosing yourself doesn't make you selfish. It makes you honest. If this hit close to home, don't scroll away. Backhand index pointing right, like this video if you've ever carried more than your share. Backhand index pointing right, share it with someone who needs permission to stop. Backhand index pointing right, subscribe if you believe quiet strength is still strength. Because sometimes justice isn't loud. Sometimes it's walking away, standing still, and finally letting yourself take up space. A few days after Christmas, my phone finally rang again. My mom's name lit up the screen. I didn't answer. Not because I was angry. Not because I wanted to punish her. I just wasn't ready to shrink myself again. She left a voicemail. Her voice sounded tired this time. Not sharp, not controlling. Just tired. I don't understand why you did this, she said. You could have handled it differently. I replayed that sentence twice. You could have handled it differently. And that's when I understood something important. People who benefit from your silence will always be confused when you start telling the truth. She didn't ask how I felt. She didn't ask why I was exhausted. She just missed how easy things used to be for her. I didn't call back. Instead, I sat with the discomfort. The kind that comes when you don't rush to fix what was never yours to repair. Over the next few weeks, things settled, but not neatly. Some relatives pulled back. Some reached out quietly. Some acted like nothing happened. And my mom? She stopped asking me for help. That was the loudest apology I was ever going to get. Ryan called one night. She's struggling, he said carefully. She didn't realize how much you did. I leaned back on the couch, staring at the ceiling. I realized, I said, that had to be enough. Because here's the truth no one tells you. Justice doesn't always look like people admitting they were wrong. Sometimes justice is them being forced to live without your unpaid effort. Life got calmer after that. Not perfect. Not magically healed. But calmer. I started saying no without explaining myself. I stopped feeling guilty for resting. I stopped measuring my worth by how useful I was. And slowly, something changed inside me. I took up space.
Not loudly.
Not aggressively. Just fully. I learned that love that only exists when you're exhausted isn't love. It's convenience. And if setting boundaries costs you people who only valued what you gave, that loss isn't a punishment. It's protection. So if you're listening to this and something in your chest feels tight, let me say what I wish someone had told me sooner. You don't owe your burnout to anyone. You don't owe silence to keep the peace. And you don't need permission to stop disappearing. The moment you step back, the truth always shows itself. And whatever falls apart after that was never being held together by love. It was being held together by you. Backhand index pointing right, if this story felt personal, hit like. It helps more people who need this hear it. Backhand index pointing right, share it with someone who's always the strong one. Backhand index pointing right, subscribe if you believe justice doesn't have to be loud to be real. Because choosing yourself isn't the end of the story. It's the first time it actually becomes yours. Black Heart.